Alright, let's talk about the newest Spectro Hypercarry / support added to Wuthering Waves, Phoebe. And in this video, we're going to talk about her kit, teams, and rotation so that way you know everything that you need to know before you roll. So let's go ahead and talk about her kit. So Phoebe has two forms, her Confession and her Absolution form. You can enter one of these forms once her prayer is completely full, which is completely filled after 24 seconds, and this still generates even when she's all filled. By holding the skill button, you enter Confession mode, which is going to be her main supporting mode. But there's not any resonators currently in the game that can benefit from this. So the main mode that you're going to be entering is her Hypercarry mode, which is her Absolution mode, by holding the attack button. Which brings us to her skill, which is going to be the main part of her kit. While standing in the circle, her attack combo is enhanced. But she can group enemies much easier if they're inside the circle and she's outside. So you mainly just want to make sure that you or the enemy is inside the circle. Also, when her skill is active, anytime you press skill again, it will automatically teleport her inside the middle of the circle. So now let's go ahead and talk about her attack combo. You mainly want to do 3 basic attacks into a heavy attack, and this is going to be the main thing that you do while you're on field with her, until you completely drain your forte bar. One way to slightly increase your rotation is that if you do a dodge counter, you can immediately go into the heavy attack, bringing us to a Resonance Liberation. All it really does is buffer modes. So you want to make sure that you activate a mode before casting a Resonance Liberation. And lastly, she has a very good exploration tech. While in the air, if you do a hold attack into another hold attack and then you jump, then you can do a hold attack into another hold attack and then use a grapple, and then finally do a hold attack into another hold attack, allowing you to travel very far distances. Next, let's talk about her build. So the main thing that you're going to be focusing on is crit rate and crit damage, with more emphasis on crit damage since her main Echos Ect gives 20% crit rate, reaching even higher levels if paired with Shorekeeper. Her energy is mainly going to be paired with a Spectral Resonator, so you generally need around 115 to 120 energy. For a secondary stacks, heavy attack over basic attack is going to be preferred. So now let's go ahead and talk about her echoes. Her best set is going to be the Internal Radiance, due to the fact that it gives spectro damage and it increases her crit rate. For the boss echo, you're going to want to go with the Nightmare Morning Affix, which increases your spectro damage and further increases your damage if Spectral Frazzle is applied to the enemies. When it comes to the main stat, you're going to want to go with crit damage, especially if you have her signature weapon. Otherwise, choose what's best for your stats, but don't forget to factor in the 20% crit rate. For your 3-cost echoes, you're going to want to go with spectro damage, but you could consider attack. And for your 1-cost, you want attack. So now let's go ahead and take a look at her ideal weapons. Of course, her signature weapon is going to be the best one for her, to where it basically just enhances all parts of her kit. Strength Master is a close second due to the fact that it gives crit rate and it has a good passive. Other than that, you could consider the standard weapon due to the fact that it has a high base attack and the passive is not completely useless on her. For 4 stars, you can consider using the Battle Pass weapon due to the fact that it gives crit rate and it also increases attack. But the new event weapon is also very good for her due to the fact that it's going to massively give her spectral damage, especially since you're going to be able to max it out. Next, let's focus on her skill priority. You mainly want to focus on her forte, her liberation, and her skill. After that, you can consider leveling up her normal attacks for her supporting capabilities, and then finally her intro. Which brings us to her teams. Now her best support is Spectral Rover, and due to her S4, you can actually slot her in the healer spot or as a sub DPS. As a healer, you simply just use the Rejuvenating Glow set, and as the boss echo, you use the Fallacy of No Return to increase your team's attack. As a sub DPS, you can use the Moonlit set, using the Impermanence Heron as your boss echo, increasing Phoebe's damage. But if you want to increase her damage even more, you could farm another Internal Radiance set for Spectral Rover. And since you can use Spectral Rover in the healing slot, let's go ahead and talk about a few other supports. Samwa is actually a decent option. This is due to the fact that she has a low field time and she can also increase the basic attack damage of Phoebe. Jinshi is also a good choice since you could do a dual hypercarry team with Phoebe. And Jinshi just so happens to be one of the fastest hypercarries in the game. And when it comes to healers, the best healer in the game is Shorekeeper. This is due to the fact that she increases the crit of the entire team. For the Echo set, you're going to want the Rejuvenating Glow set. And for the Boss Echo, you're going to want Fallacy of No Return, which further increases her energy recharge and it increases the team member's attack. Your second choice would be Verena, using the exact same set and the exact same Boss Echo. Which brings us to her sequences. S1 is a decent boost in damage. S2 is a bit more damage. S3 is probably one of her strongest sequences, giving her a giant boost in damage. And S4 is just a minor boost in team damage, whereas S5 slightly increases her damage, and S6 is of course another big boost in damage. And of course all of this is for her hypercarry mode, but some of these might be better in her support mode, but we'll just have to wait and see. Finally, let's showcase how she's going to look in a team, using Shorekeeper and Rover as teammates. So you want to start on Rover and do a heavy attack into 3 basic attacks, giving you half a forte bar. Cast your skill into a basic attack and then switch to Shorekeeper. You want to do 4 basic attacks into your forte to fill up 3/4 of your concerto. Then you want to quickly cast your skill, echo, and liberation. Then intro into Rover. Cast your skill into a basic attack and then cast your Liberation. Cast your Echo and intro into Phoebe. Hold attack, cast your skill, and then cast your Liberation. Cast your Echo, do 3 basic attacks into a hold attack 3 to 4 times. Then intro to Shorekeeper, and repeat the rotation by quickly switch to Rover, do a heavy attack into 3 basic attacks, then cast your skill into a basic attack and then switch back to Shorekeeper. But with that should be everything that you need to know before you roll. So let me know down in the comments, are you rolling for Phoebe? Are you waiting for those future characters? But with that, I'll talk with you guys later.